Hello. Welcome to our Friday deep dive into the body language code for leaders. Body language is quite an exceptional communications tool when we learn to use it correctly. We've explored how your posture communicates confidence and how focused presence brings trust. Today, we're going to take a much deeper dive into why body language awareness is critical for leadership success. But before I go any further, you know that I'm Denise Miller, your Leadership Lady Live. I'm inviting you to like this content with the thumbs up or the heart, share it, and please do follow or subscribe to my channels. Research shows that up to 93% of communication effectiveness comes from the nonverbal elements: tone, facial expressions, gestures, and posture. As leaders, this means we're constantly transmitting and receiving information that's beyond our words. Today, I'll explain how to decode this language to transform your leadership effectiveness. The first thing we're going to talk about is the science of leadership body language. There's something called the mirror neuron connection, which explains that our brains specialize in unconsciously responding to the actions that we see another take. This means that your emotional state as a leader is contagious, absolutely contagious. When you display confidence, your team's brains mirror those confidence signals. Conversely, if you display anxiety, uncertainty, fear, disengagement, those states transfer just as quickly. In a landmark study at Yale University, researchers found that teams unconsciously adopted their leaders' emotional expressions within minutes, and that predicted the team's performance outcomes with remarkable accuracy. There's something called the status stress balance also. Leaders face a unique body language challenge there because they need to display enough status so that people will respect them while showing enough warmth so that people will trust them. This is a delicate balance, and so many leaders struggle with it. High status body language includes things like taking up space, speaking in a measured tone, making decisive gestures, and then if you happen to be a woman, not letting your voice rise when you get excited, because that happens with many of us, even me. High trust body language includes appropriate eye contact, open palm gestures, and authentic facial expressions. Don't be afraid to smile or even to frown. When you blend these elements, you will be adapting your nonverbal communication to every situation and every leadership challenge. You need to master your presence beyond the first impression because your team members are not looking at you just once. They're watching you over a continuance of time, and they are always reading your nonverbal cues. This requires consistent body language that reinforces your message over time. In critical moments, this is especially the case. Critical moments meaning challenging announcements, receiving feedback, or answering questions, while listening to others' problems, and when there are moments of team stress or organizational stress. And then, of course, during the happy times, celebration and recognition. This requires a body language toolkit, and we need to develop that toolkit the same way we've developed all the other toolkits that we use to lead well. Explore some specific techniques to enhance your nonverbal presence. First of all, your stance, which we've spoken about before. Your stance communicates approachability, confidence, and it should focus on being steady. Feet planted shoulder width apart, whether you're sitting or standing, your shoulders back, and your hands visible and relaxed. It's key to have strategic, purposeful movement to reinforce your message. Move slightly forward when you're making a specific point. Take deliberate steps when you're transitioning between topics. Move your body or physically take a step. Avoid pacing up and down, back and forth, because that denotes anxiety. And then stand still when you're receiving important information. Don't fidget. Then there are your hand gestures. Use precision, gripping your thumb and your forefinger when you're making an important point. Then steeple fingers when you're expressing confidence. Keep your gestures between your waist and your shoulder, and be really careful to avoid self-touch gestures. Your hair, your face, ladies with long hair, avoid those kinds of gestures because it's distracting and not at all becoming of a leader. There's also your vocal leadership. Your voice is a powerful tool, so consider practicing in low stakes situations until a modulated, slow paced tone that is weighty is a tone that you're using to maintain engagement. Project from your diaphragm, not from your throat. When you speak from your throat, it's thin. But when you speak from your diaphragm, it's very, very weighty. Also, be sure to lower the pitch of your voice a little bit, especially women, because when we get excited, our voices tend to sound airy. Look at some of the work of some great vocal speech coaches like Roger Love. And if you sing, join a choir. Singing helps your voices tremendously. We need to also think about the engagement spectrum and learn to accurately read our team's nonverbal cues. So this is both ways. Let's look for some high engagement signals among our team members. When they're engaged, they lean forward, they make eye contact, they nod their heads, they smile, or they make eyebrow raised expressions and micro expressions that show that they're interested. They may mirror our gestures, and sometimes we'll find them taking notes. When teams are disengaged, they lean backwards, they cross their arms, their shoulders are tense, they're not really making eye contact or looking at you. Their expressions are blank. Their feet are pointed toward the exits and they are fidgeting or doodling. Be careful because some people doodle because they're kinesthetic learners and they need to move to learn. You shouldn't only look at just one body language signal, look at clusters of signals to see if they're all giving you the same clue. What are the multiple signals that may be telling the same story? Have they made a change in response to something that you said? Are there cultural differences that may skew what you're seeing? And then what's the environment? Is it cold in the room? Is everybody huddled up because the temperature is too low? When you notice these things, take a look and see if you're seeing disengagement. And when you see disengagement, don't be defensive. Instead, engage the disengagement. Ask questions, open questions, create a space for honest feedback, and listen to what your team members have to say. Your nonverbal response to your team's nonverbal clues is critical. Respond with open, receptive body language, even to the negative signals. When you do that, you're building psychological safety in your teammates. This week, I challenge you to approach one important conversation with complete body language awareness. Notice what shifts when you shift, what shifts in how you communicate, who shifts based on how you communicate. Thank you for joining me today. This was a bit longer than we usually are on a Friday, but I felt that it was really important. As you know, I spent 17 years teaching these principles at the university level, and they are tremendously important. I invite you once again to subscribe to this channel, to like, and to share this material. Contact me by email or via my website if you'd like to discuss this further. Have a wonderful balance of the day. Thank you for giving me such a large chunk of your time today.